It's the Retronatics after so many years of not being able to do a video together, and we just decided, okay, let's get back into the swing of things, and we decided Predator Prey was going to be our movie that brings us back together. Hopefully, we'll see many more as well. But yeah, we just finished it. I know it's been released for a year already now, but we just decided to just sit down and hang out a bit and just enjoy the movie together. What did you think about it? Or do you want to talk about the story, Jose?
So, yeah, we'll just do kind of a quick review. Again, like Javier said, it's been out for a little bit, so I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. But yeah, it's actually a pretty good movie. Heads and shoulders above The Predator, which we saw back, what was that, 2018 or
5 years ago? Yeah, 2018. Yeah, and I know that we were talking about how bad of a movie that was, and I don't know if we just need to give it more time to kind of just forget about it. But in any time that I've actually seen somebody review it, it just kind of looks worse and worse, I guess. Like, I'm trying to like it, but I just can't, And so, like we were saying, anything that we didn't like about other Predator films kind of made it better. Like even Predators, which I thought was kind of mediocre. It kind of looked like Shakespeare at this point and stuff. But Prey is just, finally it's coming back to form. It's a lot more simple, and it's very enjoyable. But I didn't even talk about the AVP films and stuff. I guess those are okay, But
only the first AVP movie is just okay. It's not that great either, but it is pretty good. And again, like you said, when you go back and you take a look at it on further viewings, and of course as time has gone by, it's actually not too bad. Now, I'm talking about the first AVP. Now, if you go back and see AVP Requiem, I'm sorry, that one to this day is still just absolutely hot trash.
Yep.
The other bad ones are The Predator, as we mentioned, and the absolute best so far is the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Second one right after that is either Predator 2 or Predators, depending on your point of view. But Predators, like you said, that one's actually a really good movie, and I hope they come out with a sequel for it. I have heard rumored that they are working on it, but again, it's just a rumor only. I don't know for certain if they are. Predator 2, honestly, Predator 2 has always been one of my favorites, even back when it first came out. I know it got a lot of flack when it was released. People compared it to the original Predator. I always thought it was a great environment for that creature to be hunting in the city. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, perhaps maybe we need to do a separate review of Predator 2 or any other, movie and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just kind of like the layers of the onion start opening up, peeling back and stuff, just of the lore in general. Because mentioning Alien versus Predator, they try to kind of add some more lore to them being like these ancient, hunting creatures and stuff. And here we have, a movie that basically is supposed to be the prequel to Predator, set 300 years ago in the northern Great Plains,
Right.
In what, 1719?
Yeah, let me look at my notes. I had to take notes for the movie.
Same here. We're old. We forget things and stuff,
So it's supposed to take place, according to the timeline there, is September 1719. And that's what they put up on a caption during the movie. So it's quite a while ago. Of course, AVP, they do show a scene of the Predators fighting a whole bunch of aliens on top of a pyramid, which is probably thousands of years, even prior to that. And to me, actually, I think that's like my favorite scene in the whole AVP movie.
I think it is pretty.
When they're fighting all
great.
those aliens on the pyramid. Like, if we could get a movie of just that, I could die happy.
Yeah, and you've got your video games as well that kind of use that type of lore. But yeah, it's like I said, it's just layers upon layers of this stuff, that, okay, and if we're supposed to believe, okay, this is the very first Predator film, you kind of have to forget about a lot of that stuff, if we're just saying that this is the first representation. But either way, it's still a good film. Basically the story of a woman hunter who actually seeks to become a hunter, because you have that whole angle of them looking down on her because of her, I guess, gender, if you will, or something like that. But their culture was, you only deal with medicine, cooking, whatever it is, and she wants to become more than what she is, and she wants to become a hunter because they told her that she couldn't do it or something like that. But yeah, I mean, not to make fun of that or anything, but we're following this story. She's our protagonist. Naru, right? Is Naru, her name.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we see her kind of I guess, take a hold of her destiny, if you will, by kind of like challenging, I guess, her superiors in hunting and stuff, and kind of showing that I guess she is useful out there, to be able to kind of survive and eventually just help her tribe out. But yeah, a lot of bloodshed, and if there's anything about this film is that it's not shy about showing the gore. Yeah.
Which to me, that's a positive. I think you got a lot of movies these days that kind of shy away from it, but you also do get some that kind of go a little too overboard with it. The Predator, I hate to keep bringing it up, but the Predator did actually go in that direction where it tried to just be a gore fest, and that just didn't really work in its favor. I thought Prey had just about the right amount of gore and violence in it that a Predator film deserves. There's not too much I can nitpick about it. Let me reference the notes again. So actually, yes, if you do watch the movie, I recommend the Comanche dub. That's a great level of immersion to enjoy for this film. We watched tonight the English version, which is still good in its own right. But when you watch it in that Comanche dub, it takes you to another level, and I loved it that way. Oh, cinematography is awesome in this movie. It's pretty cool. Another gripe, though, however, is we got no subtitles for the French guys when she meets up with them. So we have no clue what they're saying. I know I could probably Google it and probably find the answer pretty quick, but it would have been nice for this movie to at least just put that in there. What about you? What did you like about it?
Okay, well, so thinking about the film in general is I don't know what the budget was behind it. It didn't seem like a huge budget thing as compared to like the Predator, like we were talking about. Right. But it seemed like very low scale, and I guess to its plus is that that's just how it was working off of. I don't know how much money was behind the cinematography, like you said, but they kept it simple, which I liked. They just concentrated on a small group of people and just them just trying to survive. But yeah, I like the small scale of the movie itself. It didn't try to do mama jokes or whatever like right. The Predator or just any of that silly stuff. I guess I'm just trying to say that I was looking forward to the Predator and got severely disappointed. But this is kind of like, you expect it, to fail, really, like when you're hearing about the premise and stuff. But it actually was a very good film, and I don't know how to rank it, in all of the Predator films. Maybe like number 4 or something like that. I don't know if it's right behind Predators or maybe even above it. It's a pretty good film. I like the action. The gore is pretty fun. Special effects are good. They're not 100% perfect, but they're pretty okay. They're pretty good and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The simplicity of it, I think, really helped to sell it, at least for me. That also kind of went back to the original Predator in the same way. It was a small cast. There wasn't really it wasn't really effects driven. Yes, there are special effects in it, but that wasn't the driving force behind it. The original Predator, I wouldn't say it was really trying to tell you a story, but it did create a great amount of suspense and a little bit of horror. I remember that as a kid seeing Predator, it scared me. The way he stalks his prey very stealthily, taking them out one by one, that leaves you with a real sense of dread because you're like, well, who's next? What's going to happen? And all that kind of stuff. Prey kind of did the same thing, although by this time, really, we know what to expect from a Predator movie. So building up that suspense and horror and thrill, that's kind of hard to do. That's asking a lot, simply because we've already seen it. We know what's next. But Prey, I think, did a good job of delivering. We saw some different things now. We did see this feral predator, as he's called, stalking and killing animals prior to getting to the humans. He pretty much works his way up the food chain. If you see the movie, you see that his first victim, at least that we see, is a snake. And something that's really cool in that scene is the snake making a strike against this predator, and he takes it out very quickly with his wrist blades, which, if you know, the speed of a snake is extraordinarily fast in its strike. So to take it out with just wrist blades alone, that's a very impressive feat. Then he moves up to killing the wolf, and then he moves up to killing the bear. So it just kept getting progressively bigger and more dangerous for him as he went up, until finally he met the greatest threat, which is humans.
So part of the storyline is they're looking for this lion that took out one of their tribesmen. She's trying to hunt or defend herself against the lion, and she falls because she's distracted by, I guess, a light coming from the predator or something like that. But they don't show how they defeat the lion, they really don't, right? But it's just understood that the tribe took him out and stuff. And I was kind of trying to remember, because it's probably been a year since I've seen the film, if the predator actually did kill it, and then maybe they just took the whatever, the credit for it or something like that. But no, they killed it off screen.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, he went up the food chain, and he ends up killing the bear. You would think that you would stop there, right? Like the bear is kind of a ferocious apex predator out there and stuff, but I guess that guy was just looking at the tribe like, I wanna take care of everyone here and stuff,
So my opinion on that, in a way, is he encounters the natives in that first time, and I don't think he quite knew what to make of them, but I guess he saw them maybe as a bit of a bigger threat because they were in possession of weapons. So I guess to him that would signify a level of intelligence that the animals and all that he'd hunted already prior didn't have. So he kind of realized he was dealing with a bit more of a sophisticated type of species, but maybe he wasn't quite sure what to make of them yet. Because he did get injured by the second native that he kills. That guy manages to shoot him with an arrow in his arm, and I guess it was at that point the predator suddenly was thinking like, well, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to take these guys a little more seriously and be more careful. You'll see later in another encounter later on with humans, they have the Frenchmen. They have rifles. They have muskets. So that's kind of, you see a little bit of advancement in technology that the humans have. From simple spears and bows and arrows, then they move up to gunpowder, having rifles and pistols. So it's getting a little more and more riskier for him. They almost take him down with that bear trap method too. He falls right into that, which, like I mentioned to you during the movie, is a little confusing to me because they pointed out in the original Predator that he sees the traps. The jungle predator is able to see the traps that they set up, so they have to make traps out of natural materials, using wood and hiding them with leaves and whatnot to blend into the environment. Whereas in this one, in Prey, the feral predator walks right into a big bear trap that he probably should have seen. But I don't know if it's based on the technology that is available to him. Maybe the jungle predator had something that feral predator doesn't have. Again, we're dealing with a different level of Yapja.
Yeah. Like I think you had mentioned before, because we really love the lore of the Predator franchise and stuff, and the different levels. Like you're saying, you start at the entry level job of basically becoming a predator, and maybe he's not given all of his tools, or maybe it's just 300 years ago the predators didn't have this. We don't know, because Alien versus Predator is like centuries ago, and they already have all their
plasma
stuff.
casters and all that stuff.
So you're left with okay, so is this just kind of like basic level? Yeah, he doesn't have his plasma caster. He doesn't have all the cool stuff that we're used to seeing, and maybe he can't defend himself as great or whatever. But yeah, what was my point with that? Is that like you mentioned before, like he's able to observe all of the weapons, if it's a weapon or something like that. I mean, a guy's holding a stick, and just because it's got a sharp point, it's already like on his radar of that's a weapon or something like that. So maybe he didn't look down and see that it was a weapon and stuff. I mean, that's part of, like, I guess, stealth as well, is like if they found a thing that didn't show up on his radar, and that's a useful thing that they could use against the predator or something like that.
Sure.
Because Naru somehow finds out that going cold gets off his radar and stuff, and that's just part of the connection of like her being a medicine woman. Like they had to use that to treat wounds and stuff, and she ends up actually using that to her advantage, and then I guess somebody else's disadvantage because the history of the rifle, or the
pistol,
handgun,
So that was another nitpick, but I mean, if you know the story of the pistol based on the comic, then it was kind of not upsetting to me, but I was like, why did they change it? They changed the lore to fit that pistol into Prey, whereas I like the story from the comic. To me that was cooler. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean,
You haven't seen the second time now. I do enjoy the movie more.